This is the story of me. My name is Grendel. Before I begin, I must pause to ramble about this really rude ram that's just driving me nuts. All animals are stupid, no ifs, ands, or buts. Now before I get into why I'm so mentally unsound, I gotta let out a noise that might unease everyone around. Yeah, that felt good, unlike anything else I do in my crazy neighborhood. I guess it all started when I was fairly young, before they called me the Rothgar Wrecker or the Wicked One. I went out exploring, got stuck in a tree. Suddenly a bull was charging at me. He bloodied up my leg, a pain I sure don't miss, but it brought me to the conclusion that I alone exist. Jump around a little to a few years later, and you'll understand why I'm Rothgar's #1 hater. I watched the growth of humans from a distance, you see, and ended up abhorring their sick society. And who do you think was at the top of the chain? It was Rothgar himself, the disgusting Dane. This isn't the only reason I hate humans, of course. Other than the ones who waste resources and wage wars, there was a crazy blind man, a shaper so named, because he shaped a history of lies like it was some little game. At first I couldn't help but be enraptured until he sang about my past, which made my mind fracture. After that, I had had enough. Surely the dragon could help me sort through this stuff. So I strode to his home, and get this. All that treasure mining me greeted with was a rusty fiddlesticks. Oh, and he told me that life was meaningless. After chatting up the can, Tanker was loony into discrepancy. I found that I was given immunity to all weaponry. This was a good thing, or so I thought. In the meantime, I began my raids on Harriet right on the spot. After just a few raids, Dane and Unferth wanted to play hero to get some self-worth. Well, I'm not the kind of creature to be the nice guy, so of course I wasn't gonna let that hero thing fly. For the record, Unferth despises me now, because during every raid, out of all those crazy humans, I make sure Unferth's life is saved. The humans are wretched, that much is true, but wait till you see what adding a queen can do. Her name was Wealthy-O, or rather holy servant of the common good. She was a peace weaver come to my neighborhood. She was married off to Rothgar, the poor pretty thing, and whenever I saw her I got an urge to fling myself at her feet and cry with remorse, but I never actually did so, of course. In fact, one night when Harriet was asleep, I crept to her chamber and by her dainty feet snatched her up in my claws, intending to kill her real slow. But what I saw of her dress unnerved me so, to the point where I wondered, what was the point? Killing her or sparing her, both were meaningless from my viewpoint. A little while later, wait, let me backtrack. I think this is the last part of my flashback. Anyway, Rothel, son of Helga, that was his name, had lost both his parents and came to live with the Danes. From my cover in the woods, I could just make out what he and Red Horse were talking about. Red Horse is cranky and old, but not quite from evil, for he basically claimed that all governments were evil. Here we are now, back in the present. By the end of my story, I failed to present that spring is over and winter is upon us, and I'm so bored in this dead, cold calmness. All I've gotten to do to find any peace from my tedium of life is talk to some priest while pretending to be the destroyer of pagan deity, the so-called believers in which are full of hypocrisy. Good grief, what is this clambering up my cliffside? It's a stupid old goat trying to cause a landslide. Move, 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 I say. The dumb animal doesn't even have the courtesy to turn away. That's it! I yell and roar. I laugh as bold as fly, for the goat has been gorged. And what is this news I hear from the side of the shaper's bed? Alas, the old blind heartstring scratcher is dead. What is this pain I feel inside? I feel lost, and I think I know why. The death of the Shaper is the death of history. No one has existed, not even me. As troubled as I am by the Shaper's brutality, I have finally found something to end my malady of boredom, that is, for on the horizon a boatload of strangers are arriving. I am both overjoyed and unnerved by this, but why should I feel this way? Something must be amiss. The leader of the group about which I have just vented seems so cold, distant, and truly quite demented. I have been bored out of my wits for some duration of this rhyme, but now, finally, I decide it is time. For so long I've had nothing to kill, but tonight, I assure you, tonight I will eat my fill. I creep up to the mead hall, silent as the grave. I bite a few heads off of a knight and a knave. I reach for a third, for two did not suffice. But wait, he's awake, and now he does strike. It is that same stranger from the faraway shore, the one that I spoke of a few lines before. I am in anguish and pain, I can't help but cry. Oh mother, save me, poor Grendel's going to die. But mother isn't coming, that much is clear. And now my head spins as my killer whispers madly in my ear all the things that I do do not wish to hear. My arm is torn off and my end is near. Bloody, beaten, I run from the hall, too close to death to finish the brawl. These stupid animals I hate so much have gathered to watch me fall. For Grendel's had an accident, so may you all.